because you're going to be holding a rally tomorrow. Go ahead and let our viewers know why specifically you're going to be holding the rally.
Well, I think pretty much everybody in the valley has heard about the statue, the Jesus statue up on Big Mountain. And we're going to have a rally just to generate some enthusiasm to get comments into the Forest Service because the issue is coming to a head. We were able to get a delay in the decision. We hope that they will reverse their position and renew the lease, and we just wanted to have a rally tomorrow up in Whitefish.
Why do you think it was so important for you as a congressman to step in and voice your opinion about saving the Jesus statue?
Well, that's one of the things we do as elected officials, is we respond to our constituency, and there was a huge controversy as a result of the freedom from religion people weighing in on the issue, and it looked like the Forest Service got nervous. They were afraid of being sued, and by stepping in, we gathered attention, and we got a extension of comments, and so we have until December 10th. And we're just asking people go to the website we set up, veteransjesus.com, www.veteransjesus.com, and put your comments in. And it's overwhelming in support of honoring the veterans as we are. It's pretty important as well on Veterans Day, which is coming up, to remember why we have the opportunity to have that statue looking over the valley in the first place. It's a free valley, it's a free state, it's a free country. And let's honor our veterans and not dishonor them by kicking that statue off the mountain. So let's do the right thing, and I hope the Forest Service will.
Now, the statue is actually a commemoration of World War II.
Yes.
And would you basically fight for this battle if the statue were of another religion, such as Jewish or Muslim?
Well, it's interesting. If you look at the comments that are coming in, the Jewish religion, the Muslim religion, they're weighing in as well, saying, yeah, it's important for us to set aside our perhaps our prejudices or our ethnicity or any of the other issues and come together and honor veterans. And thank goodness for the Knights of Columbus who took it upon themselves in 1953. This is almost 60 years old to say we want to honor the veterans and this is the way we think we can do it. So it's not a religious issue. This is all about the veterans, and they have tried to turn it into a religious issue. But you know, I'm proud of the Knights of Columbus for stepping forward and doing this back then, and they deserve our support.
Now, there's been mention that the statue may be put on the National Historic Registry. What are your thoughts to that? Well,
that's what we're looking at. We're hoping that they renew the lease without having to go to that extent, but it looks like it does qualify. You know, I have draft legislation out there to trade the property, but I hope that's the last resort. You know, it's very difficult to get legislation through Congress. We're focused on the economy and jobs, and we really need to stay focused on the economy and jobs. And so I'd really like to see that to be the last thing that we have to do. I would rather see, one, the Forest Service renew the lease. Two, if that's not possible, then we'll go to the extent of trying to get the historical registry. And then three, if that's not possible, we'll try and get legislation through. But it's necessary for it to stay there because it does, in fact, honor the veterans, and it really would be a slap in the face of those that have served, whether it's Vietnam, World War I, II, Korea, it doesn't matter. We ought to thank those that give us the opportunity to even talk about, in a peaceful way, leaving that statue there.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the land swap itself. Explain the details in specific, what areas of land you would swap.
Yes. You know, my hat goes off to the resort itself. Dan Graves up there with the Big Mountain Resort has bent over backwards to make this work, and the owners of the facilities, and they're willing to swap some of their property up at Big Mountain. And we're only talking about 25 feet by 25 feet. That's the land area. And so we're looking at the possibility of finding something similar that's close by that can be absorbed into the Flathead National Forest. It would need a boundary change. It has to be of equal value. They'll split the cost. Big Mountain has stepped forward and saying we'll be willing to split half of the cost with the Forest Service of swapping the lands, because there is a cost to that. So it's a little more complicated than just saying, okay, 25 by 25, you're over there, you're over here, keep the statue there. Anytime you're dealing with the federal government, we tend to make this as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons people kind of don't like government, because they make it more difficult, but there are laws that have to be jumped through. And so we're hoping that we don't have to go to that extent, but Big Mountain has really stepped forward and helped.
And then who does the cost fall back on?
It'll either fall back on, well, split 50-50 between the Forest Service, which is the taxpayer, and the resort owners themselves. And there's all kinds of property that can be traded up at the resort, so it should be an easy process. It's just getting a fair value. There has to be an evaluation. and a determination of what is fair value, and then do the land swap. So hopefully that we won't have to get to that point. We think it's historical. It's been there since 1953, almost 60 years, and let the statue stay. I mean, come on, let's be reasonable about this. We're not trying to establish a religion, and as I said, the Jewish community has stepped forward, the Muslim community, everybody has stepped forward and saying, leave the statue there.
Let's switch gears for a